Teams battled late into the evening last night, and it was Arizona prevailing with a run in the sixth inning to take a 2-1 victory. And we are underway. It's much warmer now than it was in the previous game, which was won by California, 3-1 over Texas. Wind is blowing out. It's going to help the hitters, blowing out toward right center field. But a lot more sunshine right now than there was this morning.
Yeah, only 6 home runs in the 9 games played here at Charles Schwab Field. And center right, that's where the flags are blowing. A little hot, hotter than it was earlier today, so the ball should travel.
Graves is 3 for 10 in the tournament. 2 of those 3 base hits have been doubles.
Between the
this
Trinity
one goes
Crusaders,
right back through the pitcher's
game with
legs.
Gators.
And Graves reaches
At this time,
on the error. Brings on Milo Burton. He's had a really good week. 4 for 8. Golden singles. He's driven in 1 run. Burton last night against Arizona pitching was 2 for 3. What a ball game that was. Arizona got a run in the 4th. Kansas tied it with a run in the 6th. Arizona went back ahead with a run in the bottom of the 6th and held on to win 2-1. There's a strong base hit to left field and a good start for Kansas. An error and a bang by Milo Burton.
Milo Burton hit out a 3-spot Kansas last night, that loss you're talking about. Now, today moved up into the 2-hole. Just a solid base hit to left field. Had 2 hits last night. Adds to it with another base hit to start this game.
And it brings on Luke Hanahan, who was 1 for 3 last night against Arizona pitching. For the tournament, he's 2 for 8 with 1 driven in. Lefty to lefty here, and the opening curveball finds the zone. Luke Nelson will follow. There's another bender. It stays inside. That levels the count at 1. Kansas has put its first 2 batters aboard. 1 by error, 1 by base hit to left. Graves is at second base. Burton behind him at first. And the pitch way up and out.
Kansas only had 4 hits last night. In 25 at-bats, Ronan O'Brien for Arizona went 5 2/3, did great. Only gave up those 4 hits with 3 strikeouts. But again, this Kansas offense has been really good. You start giving them free passes like the error to begin with, you're looking up for a big inning. And now Luke Hanahan in a hitter's count.
Hanahan took a strike and has seen 3 errant pitches since then. That makes the count full, 3-2. Pretty good heater right there in the upper part of the zone. The outfield straightaway and normal depth. The 3-2 pitch curls off the plate wide, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. This is exactly the start Kansas was looking for.
That's something you're seeing more often now than when I played 30 years ago, 20 years ago, is a 3-2 pitch. When he's already in trouble, he tries to go for the swing and miss, banking on the fact that Luke Hanahan would be aggressive, thinking it's going to be a fastball. Luke Hanahan spits on it. Now Cash Dooley is in trouble with nobody out, and the base is loaded.
This brings up Luke Nelson. 4 for 9 in the tournament. 2 of those hits have been doubles. He's driven in 4. He has been the leading RBI producer for Kansas. He's first pitch swinging and lifts it back into the net foul.
I like the aggressiveness by Luke Nelson. Cash Dooley with a good first pitch because he knows that Luke Nelson's going to get the fastball and puts it on the outside corner. Nice spot.
Nelson drives 1 to center field. This is on a line. It's grabbed out there by Reitzman. Runner from third tags. Here's the throw. A good offering at the plate, but not in time. And the Wichita State commitment, Luke Nelson, drives in a run, and then the runners advance on the misplay at the plate.
Reitzman did a nice job of timing that out, running through the baseball as he caught it, and then an accurate throw into home plate. Rivero Jr. at home not able to handle it, or did handle the short hop, which was a fantastic catch, but then when he tried to play the tag, ball gets out of the glove and allows the runners to move up. Big first inning so far for Kansas.
So Nelson collects the RBI. Here's Brady Stewart, who was hitless in 3 at-bats against Arizona yesterday. And Nelson just collected his first base hit against Arizona pitching. He was 0 for 3 as well yesterday.
And this is the spot where I thought that the pitcher never has to give in to the hitter. They do have the infield in Arizona. First base is open with 1 out. So even if he walks him, it sets up the double play. He's 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. So he doesn't have to split the plate and give up these 2 runs here on the lefty-lefty matchup with Brady Stewart.
This is hit pretty well to right, and it's over the head of the right fielder Villa. 2 runs scored. Brady Stewart stops at second base. Kansas off to a flying start with 3 in the first and a runner in scoring position.
This is what you're going to see from a lot of these outfielders playing real far in, because this is a big ballpark. It's going to be tough to get it out of here, but we already talked about the weather and how the ball's traveling a little more in this game than it was in the first semifinal. Villa the third is a little too far in on this one, and the lefty-lefty Brady Stewart gets just enough of it over his head. 2 more runs across for Kansas, who now has 21 runs scored in 3 games, plus this one, the top of the first.
So a 3-run outburst on a couple of base hits. Max Solis, the shortstop at the plate out of Shawnee Mission South. Runner got a terrific jump from second base and is easily in at third. Brady Stewart was being ignored and may have been running on his own.
Yeah, it could have easily been a green light. And for Cash Dooley, like, he's in his own head right now, and why wouldn't you be? You know, you've given up 3 runs, things start to speed up in your mind, and then you lose track of the runner, who you don't expect to run anyway. But nice timing for Brady Stewart to take off for third base. You're right, great jump, and just was not being paid attention to.
The infield is pursed toward the plate. Solis, who's 1 for 7 in the tournament, now 1 for 8 as he goes down on strikes.
You got a great chance to get that run home, but Max Solis not able to put a barrel on it and strikes out in a big spot.
Ground ball left side, scooped up by Denny. And the out at first base, but a good start before the game, and they were pretty confident in the depth and the quality of pitching that they had remaining. We'll see how it plays out here to Robert Villa III. He's got a couple of years left in high school. Villa had a base hit last night, and it was a big one.
Yeah, one of his 2 home runs. I mean, he's been able to hit the ball deep, and he's been one of the highlights. It's a great changeup. And Mikey Ramsey. Remember, all these kids are juniors or younger. None of them are seniors, so they're going back to high school, and so the level is high in this tournament with all these high school kids.
Villa will take his base. That ball drifted in on him. And if you're Arizona, this is exactly what you need. If you can get base runners and create opportunities without necessarily needing 3 or 4 hits in an inning, it really makes the hits crucial when you get them.
Well, you can see how nasty that 12-6 curveball is going to be for Mikey Ramsey when he gets in a position to get a swing and miss and use it. But up by 3, leadoff hitter, you would think he'd use predominantly fastballs. Let them beat you first before you start throwing balls away like you just did and walking and hitting people.
Villa is going to try to get to third base. Here's the long throw from foul territory. The relay is not in time as Villa had to uncover himself. The first baseman, Burton, was draped all over him as they both were reacting to the throw to first. And then Villa, you'll see right here, he has trouble. He's actually kneed in the back. He gets up and he said, let me take 2 out of this.
Yeah, and again, you got a 3-run lead. So it just seems like Mikey Ramsey doing a little too much early, and he's only faced 1 hitter so far, but throws the big curveball, hits him, and now throws the ball away, gifts Arizona third base with nobody out.
And the pitch, tight. Jet Berry will be a senior next school year. Baylor Denny will bat next. 2-0.
Great block up by Roseman there. That saved a run. You really got to be able to trust your catcher as a pitcher to be able to throw some of those swing and miss pitches by Mikey Ramsey. So nice job behind the plate on that one. Gives Ramsey a lot more confidence to move along through this lineup with a runner at third.
Berry has appeared in 2 games as a starter in the tournament, but he's only had 4 at-bats without a base hit. But quickly he reverses that. A stinging shot into right. He's going to try to take second, and he makes it. Aggressive base running here in the first inning for Arizona, despite trailing 3-0 before that knock.
Yeah, it's early, so you will take some chances. Jet Berry with the rip down the right field line. Burton late reacting to that ball right over the top of his head. And look, Arizona's not a 148 team. I mean, they swing the bat much better than that. And so, like I said in the first game, they call it an average for a reason. You hadn't been hitting the ball well for 3 games. At some point, somebody's going to pay. And so far, only with 2 hitters, Arizona looks a lot better than they have this week.
This brings on Denny. You see the hustle by Jet Berry. Robert Villa took a couple of extra bases after a no-error throw at first. Time was called by the hitter, so no violation from the pitcher. Denny is 2 for 9 with a double in the tournament. He's driven in a pair of teammates. There's that bender over the top, but it misses.
He's not going to get a whole lot of guys, to swing at that until he gets to 2 strikes. They just don't recognize it. It's nasty. But you don't recognize it, you're not going to swing at it, and that's why you see the take right there. It was close.
There's the fastball, and the runner is attempting to steal third and does. How about Villa and Berry on the base paths? They've been like bottle rockets.
Made the semifinal twice in this tournament over the last 5 years, made the final once. So, I mean, they're no stranger to this position here on a semifinal Sunday. And they are being aggressive early. They were down by 3 to start this bottom of the first, but they're already in good position.
Baylor Denny takes a walk after failing to make contact. He knows he's got a teammate at third. The infield is back, conceding a run. And he swings through that breaking pitch. It's fouled back into the mid of Roseman, a strikeout and a big one.
Yeah, nice velocity behind that pitch on the outside corner. And if you're a hitter and you're looking anything off speed, and that's why velocity is important. You're looking anything off speed, and then they pump that ball in there 93, 94 at a high school level. They're just not used to that speed. They can't catch up to it.
Here's Ryan Harwood. Ramsey to the plate. Harwood lashes it foul. Harwood is 2 for 7 with a double and an RBI this week out of Castile High School. Texas A&M will be his next stop. Harwood has one more year of high school baseball. He's played deep and straight away. He flinched but did not swing.
Castillo High School is where the team coordinator, Matt Denny, coaches. 4 state championships, 2014, 16, 23, and 24. And a couple of these kids from that same high school, Queen Creek, Arizona.
Harwood thought about it, but lets it pass for a strike. That levels the count at 2. Three to 1 Kansas. We play in the bottom of the first. That pitch is just off the plate. A very courageous take by Harwood.
Well, not only does he fool the hitters on that sometimes, he fools the umpire, and that's tough to track. I mean, it's got some big depth to it.
There will be a play at first. The runner coming from third, and he is safe. The ball appeared to get to the catcher in time, but Barry gets to the back of the plate with his arm, and the umpire rules the tag was never applied. And so Arizona has been a team of rabbits on the base path in the first inning.
Well, nice
Watch
job.
this play.
Yeah, nice job by Burton making the transfer at first base back to home. The throw beat him. And if he didn't catch him, Roseman made a nice job of at least trying to fool the umpire behind home plate. But they're not going to challenge it, so Roseman must have known that he missed the tag.
So Arizona has responded with some rocket base running to pick up a couple of runs and trails by 1. Let's look at this play again.
The throw beat him. So whether or not he tagged him was the difference.
He does not. That's a good call by the plate umpire.
It's really a great slide by Jet Berry.
He's well named, isn't he, Jet?
Well, I mean, you know, illusion, whatever. I mean, that was a nice slide to get out of the way of the tag, be aware of where the throw and the tag is coming from, and be able to make that slide.
2 balls and no strikes on Abram Sharon. Both pitchers have thrown a lot of pitches in the first inning on a day that's getting hotter and more humid by the moment. Both of these starters are pitching in the tournament for the first time.
Which is good. They're well rested. That's a great point about the weather. Like, this is a tough environment to navigate through with it being so hot. You know, a lot high leverage. You can reasonably assume a lot of these kids are a little nervous, especially to start a game like this. So that factors into your stamina and how long you can last as a pitcher through this game.
Ramsey has just thrown his 21st pitch. Resting, watching this game. Kansas leading 3-2 in the first inning.
Well, you like Mikey Ramsey's stuff. I mean, over the top with that fastball means he's getting some spin rate behind it. That four-seamer, you know, which gives the illusion that it's going to rise if you can keep it at the belt or above and get a lot of swing and misses, and he backs that up with that 12-6 curveball. He's got good stuff, just using a lot of pitches here in the first inning.
There's another attempt at second base, and it's a successful one. Sharon took advantage of a high throw and steals the base, and this Arizona team has been road runners in the first inning.
Yeah, Roseman's transfer was good. Just threw it a little high, too high, to be able to get a guy that got a good jump on that one. It would have had to been perfect low and on the bag. And that's always felt like, you know, it's okay to bounce it. You know, you don't have to throw it all the way there. Just keep it low. for these high school kids. Much different at the higher levels. But right here, keep the ball low when you're throwing from the outfield into home plate. Left side of the infield, especially over first base, and then that right there from the catcher to second.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. And it's not close. Ball 4, 2 aboard with 2 outs. After such a well-played game last night, a 2-1 win by Arizona over Kansas, this one starting in a very different fashion.
Well, I just think the mentality was rough from the start. Like, you got a 3-run lead, go out there and pump fastballs first time through the lineup. If they bang out some hits and beat you, then you tip your cap. But he's allowed 4 base runners and the first 6 hitters being up by 3 in this inning, and 3 free passes. They've
come in a variety of ways, Todd. A hit batter, an RBI double, a couple of strikeouts, a couple of walks. Here's Francisco Rivero. He just completed his junior year of high school. He holds down the catcher position. This is only the second start for Rivero in the tournament. He's had 3 at-bats without a base hit. Arizona looking to tie it. There's a runner in scoring position and one behind him. Sharon at second after a walk and a stolen base. Weber walked behind him. Rivero with a count of 1-0. Ramsey checks the runners to the plate. Roseman's getting a workout, isn't he, behind the dish?
Yeah, Mikey's just kind of lost it right here. I mean, again, he's got great stuff. I mean, you got to love it. Low 90s, mid 90s fastball with the 12-6 curveball, but just started off rough for him with the hit by pitch to start this thing and just has not been able to recover.
He has missed the plate 8 consecutive times, make it 9.
Yeah, now it's just a confidence thing. You're playing in a big ballpark in a semifinal of the National Championship Series here. Walked the last 2 guys. And you just now are one-dimensional. Fastball only and try to find it.
That's high and tight. 3 consecutive walks, and he has missed on 10 consecutive pitches. And Arizona has a chance with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And a pinch runner at first. This is Charlie Borchard. Borchard running at first.
Well, again, they've already been out there once, so they can't go back out again. But the one bright spot is you're 1 out away from getting out of this inning, and he's walked the last 3 guys. But for Mikey right now, if he can restart and just start from this one right here and get this last out, the damage has been minimalized.
There's a strike 1 call, and that's the first time in a while that he's thrown a strike. Aiden Lopez at the plate. That's upstairs. This will be the 33rd pitch of the first inning, and only 10 have been strikes. He came back with a good offering, got some heat on it inside.
Yeah, for Mikey now, it's just shake fastballs for me. Like, give the hit a little bit of doubt, shake your head a few times, but pump that fastball. That middle end was nice, that last pitch.
The bases are loaded with 2 outs. That pitch eludes Roseman. It was high, couldn't get the glove up quick enough. It's going to be a wild pitch. And we've got a brand new ball game.
Kansas 3 in the top of the first, and Arizona now in the bottom have scored 3, and they're not done yet.
Now remember, these teams played last night. It was 2-1. Arizona winning with a late run in the 6th. Right now, we've had each team score 3 times in the first. And Mikey Ramsey is just not able to be consistent enough in finding the strike zone.
But he's 1 pitch away. And so that's why it's always important in baseball. Always keep perspective and positive outlook each and every pitch as a pitcher.
There's another base on balls, and the bases go loaded again. There's been only 1 hit for Arizona, but they've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra base runners, 4 walks. They've come consecutively, and a hit batter to open the game. Bullpen activity commences and has been in progress for a while for Kansas. Reitzman will graduate next spring. Reitzman is the 9th hitter in the inning. 0 for 6 in the tournament. He takes a big cut. That ball just moved out of the path of his swing.
Yeah, remember, these high school kids don't see a lot of 90+. We see it pretty commonly in college and pro baseball, but at this level, 91, 92 is really moving.
That pitch had some giddy up, got it in on the hands. So he is 1 pitch away from waking up from this nightmarish first inning.
Yeah, it's always a function of what you get used to. So you start seeing 90+ more often, then you're able to time it out better. But that's Mikey Ramsey's best asset right here. He's 92, 93 miles an hour, even if he throws it down the middle.
A number to the right side. Graves has it, gets it over to Burton, and the inning, mercifully for Arizona, is over. Mercifully for Kansas, I should say. Arizona scores 3.
On the top of the second.
And let's see what Parker Clubb can do for Team Kansas. Clubb listed as a catcher. He's in right field today. Many of these players have talents to play in other positions. Cash Dooley gave up a couple of hits in the first. 1 to Burton. And then the 2-run double by Stewart. We've had 10 base runners already in the first inning between these teams.
Kind of what we saw in game 1 between those two guys. California and Texas, they had 5 base runners in the first inning, but
the difference there was, both pitchers rallied to keep the other team at 0.
A lot of traffic in these games early.
Look out. That'll put a crease in your Stetson. Clubb on ball 4 takes first base. That is the second walk from Dooley.
That is forcing him, gets away from him. Arm side high, which means you're trying to throw a little too hard, try to get a swing and miss. Skip Johnson from Oklahoma will tell you, you can't make them swing and miss. You got to throw to a spot. And looked right there like Cash Dooley just tried to reach and get a little more out of it. Wasn't able to find the zone.
Ty Schmeidler at the plate. He swings and misses. Dooley struck out 1 in the first. He's allowed a couple of hits. He's walked a couple. There's been an error. They'll go to second for 1, and the throw is wide. Aiden Lopez fielded it cleanly and had time to throw it to the chest of the shortstop Denny, but threw it well to the third base side, and there was no chance for Denny to recover.
Yeah, it kind of seemed slow from the start. Lopez grabs it, does not move his left shoulder around to get in line with the target, and therefore pulls the throw out into left field. And usually that's a case where the runner gets involved and, you know, you got to get around him to make the throw. That runner had nothing to do with that play. Lopez just threw it a little too quickly, trying to turn the double play himself, and throws it away.
So this brings us back to Graves, and the out is recorded at first. Graves pushing the runners forward. Club is now at third. Schmeidler takes second.
Never really like the bunt first to second to give the other team an out, and then you're expecting somebody else to get a base hit, especially early in games, but I don't mind this one. Bunt him over to third with less than 2 outs. And now for Milo Burton, who's been red hot, three hits in his last 2 games. This would be the guy you'd want at the plate, first base open. I'd be shocked if they throw to him, but this is the position you want to put him in. Guy at third with less than 2 outs, where if he just puts the ball in play, you get that run across.
Burton has 5 base hits in the tournament, and that leads among his teammates on the field today. That's a leading number. That's hit sharply off the glove of the second baseman. 1 run scores. Here's the throw. Plenty of time at the plate. Schmeidler was waved around third, presumably, but was out on the relay by Baylor Denny.
Well, Kansas thought that ball was going to be into center field, and Denny jumped all over it off the glove of Berry. So Berry basically saved a run just by getting a little piece of it. Denny picks it up, fires a strike to home plate. Second runner, Schmeidler, not even close.
You know, Arizona, which had played very well despite not scoring a lot of runs in its 3 victories, but Todd had only committed 1 error in the first 3 games. It's committed 2 errors already in this one. Two outs, a run in. On the RBI single by Milo Burton. Here's Hanahan. He walked and scored in the first. Let's check in with Ronnie Rance. Ronnie.
Thanks, guys. You know, if you look over at third base, you'll see Dallas Reed is the third base coach, but he's not just the third base coach this week. He's also the head coach. Mike Hill was supposed to be the head coach. He's the team organizer, but the state of Kansas passed a 7-day dead period moratorium where coaches could not interact with their high school players. He wasn't able to coach here in Kansas because he's got high school players on his state championship team. So Dallas Reed filling in this week. So far right now, Kansas leading Arizona 4-3. He's doing a good job.
That's it.
Yeah, Kansas is hoping Mikey Ramsey can find it. He went 9 hitters in the first inning. Hit by pitch, 4 walks. In between that, he had 2 strikeouts in a row. Only 2 balls were put in play. Throwing 92-93 with the 12-6 curveball, gave up the 3 runs. And now his offense gave him another 1-run lead. Let's see if he can keep the momentum and shut this Arizona team down in the second.
Well, his pitch count is rising rapidly. It's approaching 50. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Villa leading off the bottom of the second. That's wasted outside. There's another base on balls.
5 walks for Mikey Ramsey, and that's the leadoff hitter for the second inning in a row. Robert Villa, the third, who we highlighted, and I don't know how much longer they will allow him to go, but he has now faced 10 hitters and only got the 3 outs.
And that's going to be the end of the day for the Arizona run so far. He doubled in a run and then was a bottle rocket on the base paths. And Swipe third, came home to score later. Ball 1, and we've said that a lot on first pitches for both teams. Ground ball to the shortstop. Out at second. Return. Safe at first on a close play. Jet Berry can scoot. Solis got it to Graves, to Burton, but just not quite in time. They may review this.
Pretty technically sound from Solis at the shortstop position. Squares it up. Nice accurate throw over to Graves at second. Graves with a nice transfer, left foot on the bag, and gets it out, and it looks like he got it at first base. That was a quick turn by Graves and a strong, accurate throw to get him by...
I think he's safe.
Cleat?
No, I think he's out, yeah.
I'm going to say he's out by just the length of a cleat. Nice job also at the tail end of that by Burton, who finishes the play with a stretch.
Yeah, I think this one with the naked eye looked like he was safe, but then the replay, I think, pretty clearly demonstrates that he was out by maybe a couple of inches.
Yeah, and they've got it on the Jumbotron here at the stadium, so everybody on the field is looking up at the replay, so they're able to see it. And it looks pretty clear to me that he got him by just barely.
Now, we were 1 for 1 in the first game. I think we're going 2 for 2 here. Both of us think he's out, don't you?
Well, the good news for us is we get to see it 16 times before we make our call. Of course, Chris Frank at first base has to do it in real time. But I think he's out. It was a great turn. Pretty solid all the way around.
We're putting you right in the action. And that doesn't exactly show when ball meets mitt, but those other angles were pretty convincing, I think. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, a lot of times as a second baseman, that's difficult to get to the bag because that ball was hit pretty solid. It was hit hard, and so to be able for Graves to get over there in time to be able to be set up and make that accurate throw.
Well, we are 2 for 2. It has been overturned, we are told. And the umpires will come make it official. Well, Todd, we have seen in the last couple of games some outstanding double plays. Middle infield play, turning 2 has been very, very impressive.
Yeah, and it starts with the guy who gets the ball first, and Solis with his feet in the right spot, good footwork and good transfer over to Graves started that whole thing.
They turned that double play on a very swift runner in Jet Berry. Here's Baylor Denny. He's a couple of years away from graduating high school. Ramsey struck him out in the first. This one is lifted high in the air to center field. And Stewart is waiting for it. And compared to last inning, a very brief appearance at the plate for Arizona. It's 4-3 Kansas, leading by 1 as we just added 1 in the second. And we stand at 4-3 Kansas with Team Kansas batting to open the third. Nelson lifts the first pitch to straightaway center field. Up the elevator shaft and down into the glove of Colton Raisman. So Nelson, who had a sacrifice fly to center field last time, goes back there, but this one is easily caught. And it'll bring on Brady Stewart, who cranked a double and drove in a pair of teammates back in the first. Strike one. Strike two.
Cash Dooley's kind of been in and out, and his team's down by 1. And on the other side, James Hunt did a nice job coming in relief to take the momentum back for Kansas, and now for Cash Dooley be able to hold this Kansas team down in this third inning. Gets the first out, which has been unusual because the first 2 innings Kansas has reached base with their leadoff guy, so that's a step in the right direction.
That ball comes up into the chest of the second baseman, and then he cannot connect.
Yeah, that's just a little lazy, you know, by an infielder. If your momentum's taking you toward the bag, you can even throw it underhand. Just kind of flip it to him with your momentum going toward the bag. But Barry's coming in, and then he's got to throw across his body.
And once that elbow came out, it was over.
Yeah, and so the ball's going to have some natural tail to it, and so you've got to kind of lead it if you're going to do it that way. But I think he took it a bit for granted. The ball got away from him.
So Stewart reaches on the throwing error, and this is Max Solis. That is error number 4 for Arizona, which had only 1 over the course of the first 3 games. Runner is moving, peg to first, relay down to second, in time on a close play. 1-3-6 on the putout, caught stealing.
Yeah, we're trying to guess a little bit on that one. And like I mentioned before, usually as a runner, if you're trying to steal, you're not reading the left-hander. You just go first move and hope you're right. In that case, Cash Dooley's on top of it, picks him off. Nice accurate throw over by Lopez, who we saw throw it into left field on that similar play earlier on a ground ball. Makes an accurate throw this time, gets the second out.
And that throw from first base with that angle is not as easy as it seems, because you've got to contend with your infielder arriving for the tag, and you also have to throw the ball around the base runner.
So as a first baseman, you're taught to come meet the baseball when you know he's picked. So he comes in, and that releases you from the path of the runner. Then, of course, Denny over at second base as the shortstop is supposed to give you a clear path so he can make an accurate throw, and they did that.
That's kind of like a catcher on a drop third strike who runs out to create an angle to first, right?
Exactly. So, again, as a first baseman, you're creating an angle by moving toward the baseball and then setting your shoulders. That's something that Lopez did not do on the last throw on the ground ball. That time he pulls his left shoulder around, gets squared up with the target, makes an accurate throw.
A walk to Solis, and this brings on Roy Roseman.
So both sides have just given away some presents, some free gifts. You know, for Arizona, it's been the errors, and for Kansas, it's been the walks, and they've even hit a guy.
And there's bullpen activity for Arizona. Ground ball right side. And turned into an out. Jet Berry over to Aiden Lopez. So Roseman. Todd, we have seen base runners at a great frequency in the first couple of innings, have we not? That's an understatement, is it?
Not much have been earned either, and that has been an understatement. Yeah, a lot of traffic on the bases for both sides, and it seems like, you know, if anybody could just, you know, you think about a lot of different ways to win baseball games, but if anybody could just throw it over the plate, and catch the ball, then they'd be in position. But both sides have had trouble with that.
Sharon is looking for his first base hit in the series. And Todd, as you mentioned earlier, this is an Arizona team which has not had the whooping sticks out in the first 3 games, but nonetheless have played excellent defense before this game with very few free passes and some superb pitching. A lot of close game victories for Arizona. They just didn't give up much at all. That's why they're the #1 seed.
Well, for me, baseball's all pitching. And, you know, you don't have to bang out 15 hits in a game to win a baseball game. That's what Arizona has done. That's what California has done, who won the semifinal earlier today. And that's the top 2 pitching staffs in this tournament. California, but Arizona was the best. Sub 1 ERA as a group through 3 games. But, you know, they haven't really hit the ball. And that's only their second hit of the game in this one, but they've scored 3 runs.
Well, this one finds the hole. It's the first base hit of the tournament for Sharon, and it comes at a good time with his team trying to make up a 1-run deficit. So Weber is next. He walked back in the first. Arizona has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 base runners, and we have yet to complete the 3rd inning. And yet Team Arizona trails by 1. Kansas has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 base runners as well. Well, that pitch is going to advance the runners.
Hasn't really been a clean game for either side. And
oh,
now
no.
James Hunt, they're trying to just give them an out to move the runners to where they are now, but James Hunt just throws it all the way to the backstop, and Arizona able to move up. Now Weber can swing the bat.
Weber with a chance to give his team the lead. He hits it sharply to the 3rd baseman. The line drive is grabbed. The dash to the bag, not in time for the double play, but a well-hit ball turned into an out by Luke Nelson at 3rd.
Great base running by Ryan Harwood to recognize that's right at 3rd base. And again, you're taught as a runner to freeze on a ball like that, because if it gets through, you're going to score anyway. So there's no reason to try to get a big jump or even move toward home plate on a play like that. And Harwood able to get back.
So now it's up to Francisco Rivero. Rivero walked in the first. There's the bender. It's in for a strike. James Hunt in relief of Mikey Ramsey. This is his 2nd inning of relief. And that ball just kept working its way from the end of the bat.
Yeah, so at this point, if you're Francisco Rivero, you know how he's going to try to get you out. He's not going to throw anything middle in, so you've got to eliminate the pull side, let the ball travel over the plate, try to make contact with it late to the backside of the field.
That previous pitch, Todd, looked like a strike halfway to the plate and then wound up 6 or 8 inches outside, but there was already a commitment from Rivero.
And what that mentality does also is to let you lay off pitches like that. You're not going to wave through it. If you try to do a pull swing, you're going to wave through a lot of those sliders. But stay back, let it travel. You can see it better.
He gets a piece of this one. It's bobbled behind 2nd base. 1 run scores. Here comes another for Team Arizona. And Team Arizona with a pair here in the 3rd to or to gain its first lead and hit by a pitch. Here's Lopez. Aiden walked back in the first inning. He gets a piece of that one, and Roseman pays the price. It's almost painful to be a catcher on a day like this. Very hot, high humidity. Tell you what, Todd, if a cow fell dead in a pasture, it would be jerky by the time it hit the ground.
Well, I would say that being a catcher is always difficult no matter what the temperature is. These guys have to battle through a lot, but it is hot out there today, sure. These umpires, too, are wearing all black. Always thought that they should change that color.
There you see the weather. It plays hotter than 82, I promise you. That sun is beating down. But 82 in these parts, at times in the summer, is a welcome relief. A lot of triple figure summer days here in this part of the Midwest. Both teams had 3 hits. Arizona leads 5-4. Despite 4 errors by Team Arizona.
Smidler, Stewart, and Clubb, all the outfielders here are 100 feet in from the fence, so they're way in. Any kind of ball hit well is going to get over their heads.
Lopez swings and drives a foul. California waits. It came away with a 3-1 victory earlier today. That win by Team California came over Team Texas. A very well played game. Texas had a lot of opportunities, but just could not push more than 1 run across, despite leaving 11 on base, 8 of those in scoring position. And Team California, as it's done all week, did enough to win. Let's see if this one stays fair. It does not. It takes a little left turn into foul ground. So Team California, for the 5th straight Stinger High School Baseball National Championship Tournament, will play in the finals. They've won a pair of them. They won in year 2 and year 4. This is year 5.
Yeah, Eric Borba's done a fantastic job with that group. And 21 draft picks under Eric Borba, who has done well. And again, that's just putting a team together to come out here, you know, trying to get the best you can and trying to create all this chemistry and play well. And California's been able to do it better than anybody.
James Hunt misses. That levels the count at 2-2. A runner at second base with 2 gone. And 2 runs in the 3rd. That pitch was a tricky one. Little off-speed offering. By the way, we'll talk with Brandon Eaton next inning. He's the Stinger CEO and co-founder of that outstanding organization. Stinger, longtime supporter of the High School Baseball National Championship. No room for either the shortstop or the third baseman. Solis and Nelson both chasing it.
Hey, Lopez giving quite a fight, isn't he?
Yes.
An 8 spot. Time you can get, that's time of at bat in the bottom of your lineup. You got something special. Like I mentioned, Arizona only hit $150 out of the first 3 games of this tournament, but you know they're more talented than that. And at some point, they're going to break loose. They've already scored 5 in this game off 3 hits. They've been given some gifts, you know, 5 or 6 walks, a hit by pitch. But they can swing it.
The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That takes care of business.
He fouled that one off, too.
Oh, he got a little piece.
Yeah.
He did get a piece. He remains alive. We'll do it again at 2-2. One out, a pair of runs home, and a base runner in scoring position. Cole, strike 3.
Yeah, Aiden Lopez had swung at that pitch he thought was out of the zone, and that's why I always disliked, not that they did it here, but, coaches in Little League and so forth saying, that ball's out of the zone. What are you swinging at? So what it does is it freezes you up, and I think in Aiden Lopez's own mind, he thought he swung with one out of the zone, so he tells himself to be a little more patient. And right when you tell yourself that as a hitter, they're going to paint on you somewhere, and it takes you out of swing zone, and that's where you get the freeze up.
Well, that call third strike was the 11th pitch of that at bat. Here's Colton Reitzman. He grounded out to second base last time. Raetzman.
That's why when I was coaching my little guys, especially my son who's now in college at Houston Christian, but I always just tell them, look, you're never going to hear from me if you swing at a bad pitch. But the worst thing you can do is take strike 3. So you want to be in swing mode. You want to be able to get after it and swing it. And I think, but again, you get freeze ups because you think you should take these pitches that are barely out of the zone, but the reaction time's too quick. So it's better to be in swing mode than otherwise.
He was in swing mode, but the pitch was a dazzler, and Reitzman goes down.
Fail more than they succeed. So in this game, we wanted to keep kids playing it so they can learn those life lessons. Yeah,
we call it a failure sport for a reason. You got to stay with it. So if you can find a bat that does all the work, that's fantastic. That's what Stinger does, right? You told me that you've been in business now for 10 years. What's been some of the highlights for you?
Well, this is definitely a highlight. This is an event that we just look forward to every year. We think that it's something that is amazing for these kids. I mean, every one of these kids, you dream of playing here, right? And for the fact that these guys get to do it before they're even out of high school it's amazing.
I knew you grew up loving the game of baseball, and it comes to a point where you can't play anymore, but you can still stay involved. And to see the joy on the faces of your people here representing Stringer Sports as they deal with other folks, it's just amazing. I'm being over dramatic, but to see the exchange of joy and the exchange of stories is really special.
Yeah, we all truly love the game, and that's why we love being here and watching these kids also enjoy the love game. These guys are the future, and we see a really bright future with these guys. So.
Well, when we talked a few years ago, since then your product line has exploded, has it not?
We've expanded, yeah. We've definitely expanded. We've gotten into protective gear now. Make elbow guards and leg guards and hand guards to protect these players so they can keep playing. We've always expanded our uniform line. That's one of our biggest things. We outfit about 10,000 teams across the country with uniforms, just like these players are wearing right now.
That's one of the real highlights for these teams. They get a Stinger Sports uniform that's custom fit for them before they even get here. And again, smiles and laughter all around as these guys find what their uniforms look like every year.
So I know you've talked about your company a lot. What's your background? Like, you grew up playing high school baseball. Were you a left-hand hitter, right-hand hitter, pitcher?
Righty. Grew up I was a two-way player.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So an athlete.
Well, I used to be.
Where was that at?
That was up in upstate New York. I grew up in a small town called Avoca, New York. It's really, really small. More cows than people there.
Okay, so you went through high school playing baseball. Did you get a chance to play at the next level, or at that point?
I did. I played at a junior college up in upstate New York, Corning.
Yeah.
I was a shortstop there my first year, and then I was a two-way player there as well, which is a lot of fun. Whenever you get a chance to play college baseball at any level, I feel like it's definitely a blessing.
Yep.
Brandon, when you started a decade ago, and it doesn't seem like it could be that long, but obviously there's a lot of competition, a lot of established companies that we all know the brand names from the time we were kids. How difficult was it to break into this business, to do a model that's a little different from other people, and to appeal to a group that can sustain the business?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, especially when your competition are companies that have been around for 100 years or so, right? So it's getting that brand recognition out there, letting people know that Stinger is here and we have a mission. And I think that's the biggest thing about it, is just letting people know that when you're buying something with that S on there, that Stinger S, you're really standing behind the fact that we need to continue to grow baseball, keep people playing it.
Well, a 1-2-3 inning as a ground ball, a couple of strikeouts. Ben Graves goes down. Brandon, stay with us. We'd like to chat with you in the bottom of the inning.
Lineup, the lightest swinging one is going to be the Missile Series.
Okay.
So it's very, very light. It's one of the lightest swinging bats in BB Corps. In the finals, you'll see that the California team, almost all of them in the lineup, are using that bat.
The Missile?
Yep. It's a Missile S. Yep.
And then for the guys that want to pop the homers, the top heavy, that's the Nuke?
Yeah, that's the Nuke. That's the end loaded one. And then we have the G2 and the Valor, and those ones are right in between.
What sports are involved in the Stinger lineup? What kind of equipment? Let's just throw out some sports here. Softball?
Yep, we do uniforms for softball. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Soccer?
Yep, do uniforms for soccer as well.
It might be easier to say what sports
football.
you don't.
We do football, basketball, volleyball, hockey, lacrosse, all those for uniforms.
We are in the bottom of the fourth inning. Robert Villa III at the plate. Kansas took a 3-0 lead in the top of the first. Arizona matched it. Kansas regained the lead with a single marker in the second. Arizona put 2 on the board in the third and leads for the first time 5-4. Villa has been hit by a pitch and walked. He's been aboard twice, and he is hit by a pitch again. So he's done what a good leadoff batter should do, and that's get on base by any means possible.
Yeah, he's been hit by a pitch twice in this game and then walked back in the second inning. So he's led off 3 innings in a row by getting on base, and we highlighted him at the beginning, Robert Villa, who's hit 2 home runs in the 3 games. Been one of the highlights for this Arizona offense.
We're going to have to run one of our elbow guards down to Villa.
No kidding.
He would appreciate it, I'm sure. He is running, and he is easily into second base. Villa at the top of the order, and Jet Berry, who's at the plate right now, are really swift and very aggressive. And Arizona has put them in motion as often as possible. A little double clutch there, difficulty getting the ball out of the glove of the catcher Roseman. But that's an easy stolen base.
Well, Jet Berry threw a little distraction at him by the fake bunt. Roseman not able to get the handle on the baseball, and now they're in a position where they want Jet Berry to pull the ball the right side. At least gets the runner over to third with less than 2 outs, but possibly get a run in for him. So as a left-handed hitter, your job is to pull it.
Stinger Sports.
Cool stuff. This is all the gear that they're selling up there. Multicolors, you name it. Go to Stinger Sports and check it out.
Great stuff.
I think you need to make that a staple for future events as well.
I didn't know you had seen Rance pitch.
Oh, I've seen him pitch all right, yeah. We used to have to, so we played together at LSU, and I used to have to face him in the fall, and he's a big boy out on that mound, man. And yeah, when I said effectively wild, that was him, man. He could put it where he wanted, but sometimes it came right at your head.
I've heard Skip Bertman tell the story a few times that he ruined more outfielders' careers, his own, as they crashed into the walls chasing balls that were blasted.
Well, I think Ronnie's biggest issue was trying to make that 2-mile run in 14 minutes. Back then that's all we had to do. If you ran 2 miles 14 minutes, Bertman let the rest of it go. But if you didn't, you had to show up every morning at 5 a.m. try to get it done. And I think that took a big part of Ronnie's life, trying to make that run. Yep.
Todd, you talked about the shallow play of the outfielders in these games. There's an example. A strong wrap to left field. Schmeidler had no chance to get to it, and Arizona has come from a 3-0 deficit early to take a 7-4 lead.
Yeah, and I think they saw the first game where it wasn't traveling as much, so the outfielders were playing in a little bit. Now you've got, a little less dense air. The wind's blowing from left to right a little bit, but ball's carrying a little better in the second semifinal than it was in the first. And you're facing the middle of this order, 3-4-5. Baylor Denning grew up in a baseball family. He knows what it's all about. Rips one to left field. 2 more runs across. 3 crooked numbers for Arizona in this game. And like you mentioned, they were down 3-0 after the top of the first. 7 runs since then, up 7-4.
And they've got a chance for some more with Ryan Harwood at the plate. He has struck out, walked, and scored.
So you guys make wood bats as well, right? So how hard has it been for you to transition into the pro game?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a challenge as well. Obviously, when you have the competition that's out there, I think the biggest thing is just making a quality product and getting it in people's hands, so they can see it and see how good it is. So.
Yeah, and what's great about that level is, you get 3 hits with the bat in one game, and then you're off and running,
It's always the bat.
Yeah, that's right.
What's in the line of development for Stinger Sports? Any other products that are being considered or close to being available?
Yeah, I mean, we're always developing products. The biggest thing for us is the development stage can sometimes take a long time because we're not going to release anything unless it can meet our criteria of being high quality, high performing, and being able to be offered at an affordable rate. So if it doesn't meet any of those criteria, it never makes it to market. So there's definitely a lot of development making sure that we can release a product that meets all of those.
And Stinger's set up where? Did I read South Carolina? Is that right? Where's the actual shop?
Yeah, we're in Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just south of Charlotte, about 10-15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I get down to Charlotte a lot. I got to come see you guys.
Yeah, definitely stop by.
Was that a culture shock from New York to South Carolina?
It was fantastic.
Okay, good.
I do not like cold weather.
Oh, well, me neither.
Baseball
guys don't.
No, I gave away all my snow stuff, shovel, snowblower, all that stuff when I left. I was like, I'm not touching snow again.
StingerSports.com is the place you can go to the internet and take care of all your business there. If you have questions, they'll be happy to help. Can you imagine when you were playing, Brandon, the feeling you would have had to come to the mecca of college baseball and participate on the same field that just 2 weeks ago there were 8 teams here and playing for the national championship, won eventually by LSU, but you see the joy and the eyes get real big on these players when they come into this ballpark for the first time.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience for these guys. I can't even imagine, to be honest. I'm here not playing in awe, So the fact that these guys are playing on that same field and getting that chance to do it so early is just amazing. Like I said, I can't imagine what it must feel like for them.
Sharon draws a walk. The inning continues. No outs. Arizona with 3 in the first to overcome an early 3-0 deficit, and then 2 more in the third, 2 more in the fourth. And Arizona trying to inch its way closer to the championship opponent tonight. That's an 8 o'clock Eastern time start, 7 o'clock local time, Central time on ESPNU. It'll be California and the winner of this game. Brandon Eaton, thank you for your support. The Stinger tournament has become a staple across the summer for many, many teams, 12 this year from various states, obviously, and your support is invaluable. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Well, Todd Walker, it is time to draw a line in the sand if you are Kansas.
Well, they're going to keep James Hunt out there. And this is 5, 6, 7 coming up for Arizona. Sharon, Weber, and Rivero. First and third, nobody out with a 3-run lead.
Weber has walked, and he lined out to the third baseman last time as he lit the fuse on one and nearly knocked the glove off of Luke Nelson. If you've just joined us, many of these 11 runs that have been scored have come on the heels of walks, errors, real sloppy play by both of these sides. Very uncharacteristic of both of these teams, especially. Only 7 hits, but 11 runs. Arizona leads 7-4 and leads in the hit category 4-3. There's a delayed steal and no attempt at second base as Sharon moves up.
Arizona in a good spot here.
I should say Harwood moves up.
3 of the first 4 hitters in this inning have reached base for Arizona. And 5, 6, 7 with nobody out. Kansas brings the infield in.
9 outs remain for Kansas to overcome a deficit. They're certainly capable of it if they can keep Arizona from any more damage. Runners at third and second. Pitch very high. Another wild pitch. Another run scores. It's been that type of day for this Kansas team.
Yeah, and anytime you see that arm side high, it's just a result of just trying to throw too hard, not staying under control for James Hunt, just trying to overthrow, trying and hoping for a swing and miss. And not even close to Abram Sharon. Run comes in, another gift. Run moves over to third with still nobody out.
There's still 3 innings left for Kansas, but it's starting to look a bit like a West Coast final. California and Arizona, if the score holds here. That pop-up is handled in foul ground by Milo Burton. And finally an out.
Yeah, it's a big out for Kansas. Giving up 3 runs in this inning already. And gets Sharon to pop up to the right side. They're not out of it yet. Weber's reached base. And then Francisco Rivero behind him has reached base twice. So it doesn't get any easier for James Hunt.
And the pitch slides in there for a strike. Two quick strikes, something Hunt would love to continue. And the pitch, swing and a miss on a bender. There's the second out.
Yeah, he went to work right there. Struggled in this inning and struggled since he's been out there, but in that particular bat to Jackson Weber. Wow, 1, 2, 3, sit down with the slider.
So here's Rivero. You spoke about his prowess. He has walked and driven in a couple of runs with a single. And he waves on that breaking pitch.
Yeah, and that's always surprising to me. Like, you watch the guy in front of you wave through fast sliders. And so James Hunt's feeling pretty good about it. That's what he's going to use. And as a hitter, you got to put that in your database. Look, I mean, and most likely it's not going to be a pitch you can pull. It's going to be moving away from the barrel, and you got to look up the middle the other way, let it travel in, which also allows you to take the balls. But his first swing looked like he was trying to pull it. And that one too. You're just not going to get a pitch to hit. And James Hunt gets out of an inning, 3 runs for Arizona. They go up 8-4 in this.
They have issued 7 walks. They've hit 2 batters. They've thrown 3 wild pitches, a couple of pass balls, and an error. Todd, that all adds up to 15 free bases through 4 innings by Arizona at the plate.
Yeah, I cover the SEC, you know, the college baseball in that conference, and you can look at a lot of different stats, but ultimately when they get enough down through the conference schedule, if you look at the team that has given up the most walks and hit by pitches, so free passes, that's generally the team that's at the bottom of the conference. And so you can look at all kind of different stats and categories, but you start walking people, you're in trouble. And even at this level, you know, when they're not having to earn it, and not only are the walks a problem, but also you're putting yourself in hitters' counts on other hitters that you don't walk. You get behind. And so that becomes a fastball count, and you become predictable. And that's why Arizona's got 8 runs on the board right now.
I don't think they'll make a change right here, but there is a right-hander warming up in a hurry for Arizona, but he just started. That looks like Grady Openden. But if you're Kansas, you relish the walk to get things started.
Yeah, And I coached high school for 3 years, and I didn't let a guy on the mound that couldn't throw his fastball for a strike anytime he wanted. Now, it's still tough to do, but, you got kids coming up to you telling you they got a 4 and 5 pitch mix. Well, wait a second. Can you dominate the fastball? Can you throw the fastball when you need to for a strike? And if you can't do that, that's where the walks come. And I think also at the higher levels, they're so enamored by velocity that you start worrying about how hard you throw and not necessarily about technique and where you throw.
Yeah, your point's well made.
And that's where you get the walks.
How many times have you heard it said in recent seasons, 109-mile fastball, 109 mile an hour fastball on ball 4 is nothing.
Doesn't matter. And I love Greg Maddox's quote. I didn't want to throw the ball harder. I wanted to throw it softer. I didn't want to get a swing and miss. I wanted them to put it in play. And then that's where you get the pitch count at 70 pitches, like I think he did in one 9-inning complete game. 74 pitches or whatever he threw, because he's getting weak ground outs and not a lot of strikeouts, but which he could do. But ultimately, we're so enamored by home runs and strikeouts that you lose sight of the real reasons why you win baseball games.
Well, Kansas has to be enjoying what it has seen here with its first 2 batters. Burton walked. Hanahan has been hit by a pitch. So 2 freebies with a 4-run lead. Arizona has allowed a couple of base runners without benefit of a base hit. And I believe we're going to have a pitching change right here. Yes, we will. So we'll take a timeout. 8 runs, 4 hits, 4 errors for Arizona. 4 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Kansas. This game is exactly the opposite of the outcome last night when Arizona got a run in the 6th inning to nip Kansas 2-1 in a very well-played game. Not so much today yet, but Kansas trying to come back and has a couple of base runners aboard for Luke Nelson. Nelson has a sacrifice fly, a fly ball to center in the 1st, and also lifted another fly ball to center field that was caught in the 3rd. Still hitting 400 in the series is Luke Nelson. That will chop off in foul territory. Eight o'clock tonight Eastern time, 7 o'clock Omaha time. California and the winner of this game for the Stinger High School Baseball National Championship Series.
California in the finals for the 5th time in 5 years.
Here's a ringing base hit to left. The runner coming to the plate from second base. The throw is not in time. A very close play and somewhat of a gamble with nobody out and making a 4-run deficit at the time. But Milo Burton scampering around and just beating the throw from left field. We may have a challenge.
Yeah, Luke Nelson ripped that ball hard enough to left to give Harwood a real shot. And what an accurate throw down into home. Barely beats the throw, if he did at all. I mean, tagged him on that left arm. I don't know where his left foot is over the plate, but that's a situation where if you're the runner rounding third and you're coming home, you can kind of see where the catcher's set up. And I usually slid head first and out of the way. So in other words, I'd sweep the plate with my left hand. That gives the catcher a harder time to try to make that tag. But Milo Burton slides straight in. Again, great throw from left field, but I don't know if it's enough.
That's a risky decision. And I don't think there's enough to overturn the safe call.
It's a great angle by the camera crew there, and it looks like his left foot got in there before the tag. But you're right, with nobody out, you're basically playing station to station when you're down by 4. But the gamble might pay off to get the runner in, and because of the throw being just a tap high, not able to make the tag before the left foot got in there.
Umpire Aaron Christians was in perfect position to make that call. Watch his angle here. He can see everything in real time.
Yeah, Ryan Harwood in left field made that a lot closer than
very close
than Kansas or any of us thought.
Again, Todd, trailing by 4 at the time. I'm surprised they even allowed it. We'll wait and see the official ruling.
So he's is in fact safe, and that's the 5th run across for Kansas, who feels kind of out of this game. I mean, 8-4, now 8-5 with nobody out, first and second, and they've got a real shot here.
So Burton scores an RBI single by Nelson. 2 on, nobody out. It's an 8-5 game. Arizona leading by 3. Kansas with 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 here in the 5th, and an opportunity to really tighten this game.
You know, I just tell my kids, like, a great bunt is hard to defend, even when people know it's coming. So square early, get the barrel a little bit of an angle. That isn't going to matter because they hit Brady Stewart in the back. And now bases loaded for Kansas, down by 3. With Max Solis, the shortstop, coming up. Another free gift in this baseball game.
Well, in this inning alone, a walk, a hit batter, an RBI single, and another hit batter.
When you're up by 4. So again, I mean, you've got to be able to dominate your primary pitch, the fastball. And when you're up by 4, you can pump that thing in there. And if they beat out 5 or 6 hits, well, good on them. That's not going to be a very usual situation in baseball. The odds are in your favor as a pitcher when you throw strikes. But if you don't, that's where you get in trouble.
Oppenden works a pitch past the swinging Solis. He has struck out and walked. Hanahan at third. Nelson takes his lead from second. Stewart behind him at first base with nobody out. That took a fortunate bounce for Rivero at the plate, as he was able to contain it and not allow an advance.
Well, again, if you're Oppenden, you really got to trust your catcher Rivero to block those things up, because at some point he's going to want to go for a swing and miss. And if you're not confident that your catcher can keep it in front of him, then you can't throw that pitch.
That's a strike on the inside corner. Oppenden, I believe, Todd, may have missed his spot, but still found the inside corner for the strike.
Missed his spot and kind of crossed Rivero up a little bit. But you see the movement on this pitch, and that's why the sinker slider is so effective. There's nothing straight coming out of Oppenden's hand.
That one spins off the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes, a run in, nobody out. The bases are loaded. Kansas hitting in the 5th, trying to overcome what was a 4-run deficit, now trailing by 3. There's the bender again, bounced up the middle. Second baseman steps on second, throws to first. Double play. Jet Berry got it started and then pivoted and threw it over to Lopez for the double play. A 4-3 twin killing, a run scores, but that's a big play on the infield.
Anytime you can take it by yourself, you do it. Nice job by Berry just gloving it. And even though his shortstop's there ready to make the play, if you can take it yourself, one less throw, you do it. And Berry did a nice job stepping on the back. Accurate throw over, which is usually tough because you're kind of working away from your target to be able to make a velocity throw to first, but he did it.
Roseman is first pitch swinging. Berry backs up on the grass, makes the throw from deep second base, and the inning is over. But a comeback effort by Kansas. It gets 2 back and trails
to 205. Committed to Oklahoma State, 63 2/3 in high school, 92 strikeouts, only 17 walks, about a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for Max Hamilton, who's got a lot of talent.
An error on the pitcher, and now they've got the runner hung up between second and third. And the third baseman runs him down. So,
score all that.
well, it could be
An error on the pitcher. Couldn't handle it.
And then Lopez overruns the play at second base.
Well, I don't know where he's going. I mean, the pitcher dropped it right in front of him. Max Hamilton had a handle on it, just gets off too far and fires it over. Gives him an out.
1-6-5 on the putout. But a good job by Reitzman of advancing to second base. So you see Reitzman right there. He's going to get as far as he can while his teammate is in a rundown. So a bit of weirdness there. And we go back to the top of the order, and Robert Villa, he's been on base 3 times. Twice he's been plunked, and he has also walked.
Well, Kansas climbs back in it. They're only down by 2, and so this is what you'd want out of Max Hamilton in this inning, is to have a shutdown inning, keep the momentum on your side, but they just can't do it. He walks the leadoff guy, then an error, gets lucky with the guy getting off the bag, and now allows the runner Reitzman to third base.
Hamilton pitched last night. And he was the losing pitcher in that game against Arizona.
Now a balk.
Uh-oh. Hamilton threw 1 inning last night. And that's about the only thing we haven't seen, Todd, but we have now a balk in this game. There have been errors, a boatload of walks, wild pitches, pass balls, and a balk.
Yeah, if Kansas loses this game, they have had their opportunities. And just too many free passes, like you mentioned. And had the 3 spot in the top of the first. Kansas was up 3-0. Arizona coming into this game having not swung the bats very well, but they still haven't. Only 4 hits for Arizona, but too many have allowed for Kansas to get on for Arizona, and they've basically given them 8 runs.
And this is atypical for sure. This is not the type of baseball that both of these teams have played in this tournament. They've been very sharp, very fundamentally sound. They've pitched very well. Things have come apart a bit in this game.
Well, Arizona's pitching, they've been the best in the tournament. 3-0 during the week. Kansas lost a close one, but they were 2-1. You're right, they both played extremely well, but here's the game of baseball, you know, where you're asked to predict and figure things out before it happens. There's just no way, and that's what we love about it, is any given day you can walk out there and think you have it beat, and it will just eat you alive.
Reitzman's run in particular kind of demonstrates the way this game has gone. He reached on an error by the pitcher. Then he advanced to second base during a rundown of his teammate between second and third. Then he was wild pitched to third, and then he was balked home. That's not a combination you see every day.
No. We've seen a lot, like you mentioned, in this game, but you got to learn to take advantage of the situations when they feel, I hate to use the word easy in baseball because it's not, when they feel less difficult. So in other words, I had a base hit my first time up, base hit my second time up, and I'm facing a guy I know I could get. You know, it's human nature to kind of let down a little bit or lose your focus, and you've got to be 110% all in all the time in this game. And when you don't, this kind of stuff starts to happen. And it's a tough week for these kids to play a lot of these high intense games in a row.
Each team played a game on the first day of the tournament. That was Friday. Each team played a doubleheader yesterday. Berry lifts this one to pretty deep left field, but it's tracked down by Schmeidler out there as he gives ground in a hurry. But another run scores for Arizona. It has scored in 4 of the 5 frames. It leads 9-6 as on the 4th. They celebrated last night.
And keep you up?
Yeah.
That's why you know. Yeah, I saw some fireworks last night from the hotel as well, yeah. Love it.
Club is trying to become a base runner any way he can, but he swings through that one.
There you go. Get the first out of the inning. Brady Oppenden just There you go, fastball. See if he can hit it up by 3. And that's the way we felt like the game should have been going all along, is just challenge the hitters.
That's his first strikeout. He came out of the bullpen in the 5th. Schmeidler looking for his first base hit in the series. He takes a strike. Schmeidler had 5 at-bats coming into this game. And he goes down swinging. So Oppenden feeling a bit more comfortable and certainly around the plate a lot more accurately here with the first 2 hitters.
Well, you see how dirty these pitches are. I mean, slider's going to move into the barrel of the left-hander. That sinker is going to move away. And as a hitter, you see it in one spot and you make a decision to go after it. It's moved another half a foot out away, and he gets another swing and miss. 2 strikeouts.
The pitch. That's a high strike.
But this is what you love about this tournament as well, is you get to play at Schwab Field in this big environment. Now it's not 25,000 in the stands, but a lot of these kids are going to have to play in front of a lot of people in college the next couple of years. Again, they're all juniors or younger. So in a couple of years when they get to college, most of these kids are going high-level Division I. You've had this experience with guys you're unfamiliar with around the diamond, guys you're playing with for the first time, the environment, and against who you're playing with was high-level competition. So all that factored in, you're learning a lot.
And also the pressure of representing your state for a championship.
100%.
Denny goes down on strikes swinging, and here is Ryan Harwood. Ball 1. Ryan plays left field. He's struck out and walked twice, scored twice, advanced a couple of times on wild pitches. And this one is punched foul to the left side.
I was in the big leagues for one of the first few games I had ever played, and I got over to third base in Baltimore, and Cal Ripken says, "Hey, Todd, what's going on?" Those type of things affect you, and you have to get used to it. A lot like what these kids are doing right here on this field. It's certain things that you have to deal with first, and then you get kind of comfortable with it, and then you move along. But there's a bunch of those in baseball.
Cal Ripken came to an LSU game a couple of seasons ago and could not have been more gracious or generous with his time. He was there with a family member exploring the possibility of getting into veterinary medicine school, and came to a ball game through the friendship of Ben McDonald. And for a superstar, and this is he's done something that will never, ever, ever, ever be repeated, and could not have been more gracious, more kind, more accommodating to a lot of folks. Now, he kind of snuck in, but once the word got around that Cal Ripken was in the ballpark, it was the onslaught was on, and he handled it with great dignity and great kindness.
Yeah, and I was on the field for Greg Mattis's 300th win. There's certain things that those guys did in that era that to your point, will never be done again. We're just in a different era of baseball. But yeah, Cal Ripken was always great. But my point was, you have a superstar call you out like that.
Sure.
It floors you.
Sure.
You've
been admiring him for years as a kid.
And then just to be on a field with those type of players was one thing, but then to also have them call your name, it's just again, my point is, with these kids being on this field, it's going to really prepare them for what's to come here in the next few years.
Here's Sharon. He's been aboard a couple of times, actually 3 times. And the peg down to second base, not in time.
Way up and in. That was close. That could have been really ugly toward the face of Abram Sharon, but in the process, Ryan Harwood is able to steal second with 1 out. Arizona trying to extend the lead.
This one is trapped, I believe. A great pickup in right field. And the throw from Clubb, while he's on his belly, is not in time. That ball got grass just ahead of his glove. He made a heck of an effort and a heck of a play to keep it playable. And then somehow, with a very awkward effort from his belly, He tried to peg it home, not in time, but watch this effort in right field.
Yeah, Ryan Harwood's made a couple nice base running plays early in the game at third base with the line drive, able to get back. And then now with the ball, I mean, he's out at second if that ball's caught, but he makes a fantastic read knowing the club is not going to be able to make that play and gets on into home for the 10th run for Arizona.
Who has walked, lined out, and been retired. Weber will be a senior in high school next year. Arizona leading by 4 in the bottom of the 6th. Base runner aggressively tries to move up on a ball that was not far away from the catcher, and he is thrown out. So Arizona continuing to be very aggressive on the base paths, but that time it did not pay off.
Well, you can be a little more aggressive late in a baseball game when you're up by 4. Try to take advantage of everything you can. Maybe their mind's wandering a little bit, but not that time. Roseman with a bullet down to second base, and they nail Sharon for the second out.
(10-6) Arizona leading. These teams have scored 16 between them. Last night, they scored 3 between them. A 2-1 win for Arizona, and that clinched the top seed for Team Arizona. California will be the opponent tonight on ESPNU, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central Time. And right now, it looks like Arizona's getting closer, just 3 outs away. That pitch drills the middle of the plate for a call third strike. But we move on. 3 outs to go. Arizona getting closer to a matchup. Here's Luke Hanahan looking for his first base hit today, but he's been on base twice, once via walk. He was hit by a pitch. He scored a couple of times, and he has struck out. Nelson is on deck. Oppenden came on in the 5th inning in relief of Cash Dooley. He retired the side in order in the 6th. And he has recorded an out on the first batter here in the 7th. (10-6) Arizona. And the count goes to 2-2 now on Luke Hanahan. 1 out, nobody on base. Kansas needs base runners. That pitch stays outside. And so does that one, and there is a base runner. So Hanahan gets on base for the 3rd time, the 2nd time by walk. And that is the first base on balls from Oppenden.
Yeah, but not one you want to see up by 4.
Nope.
Again, for me, it's just all fastballs. Just pump it in there here. If you can hit it out of the ballpark, do it, which is highly unlikely. In a big ballpark, you even more reason to challenge these guys. And I just don't see how you're dancing around the zone in this situation where you need 2 outs.
He does pump the fastball, but misses. And basically, Oppenden can ignore the runner at first base. He means very little. but he's thrown over there a couple of times. And Todd, I'd like to see him just take it and throw strikes. Don't worry about the runner at first.
Exactly. I mean, run means nothing. You need 2 outs to get to the championship game. You pay too much attention to that guy at first, and you end up losing track of what you're trying to do at home plate.
That pitch had some zip to it. Nelson has a sacrifice fly that came in the first. He flied to center field in the third. He had an RBI single last time, and he'll test the center fielder again. Reitzman and the right fielder collide. Did the right fielder catch it? Yes, he did. Bobby Villa, the third, ran a long way to his right. Reitzman ran a long way to his left. They collided, and it was the right fielder Villa who pulled it in.
Yeah, and in a close game, you'd like to see Luke Hanahan go back and tag on that play just in case something like that happens. You're able to get into scoring position, but down by 4 doesn't seem as big of a deal. You certainly don't want to make the third out on the bases.
And the 2 outfielders fortunate that there was no injury. Yeah, we've got a pinch hitter. This is Riker Monke. He'll graduate from high school in a couple of years. Monke trying to extend the game. 2 outs, a runner at first base, and a count of 2 strikes.
Does have 6 at-bats in this weekend. No hits. Has scored 3 times on a walk.
The pitch, dribbled foul to the left side. Arizona is 1 out away from clinching a date with California tonight. The pitch, high to Monke. We've had 16 runs in this game on only 9 hits. And that one is under the feet of Monke. A wild pitch allows Hanahan to move up. Kansas needs 2 more base runners to bring the potential tying run to the plate. Monke is hoping to extend the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The make it happen pitch coming for Oppenden.
Out of the 5 spot, so 5, 6, 7 coming up for Kansas in their last hope here in this tournament in the 7th.
Monke waving the barrel of the bat, waiting for the 2-2 pitch. Cold third strike. Monke thought it was high and away, but it was ruled a strike. And on to the championship game goes Arizona. So the final score, Arizona 10, Kansas 6. We'll come back to put a bow on it and wrap it up as we get set for the championship.